Hello everybody, this is Freddy with Freddy Can Fly. Welcome back to video 2 of heli build tips and tricks. For this video I wanted to go over my build strategies and how to pre-plan your build. That way you can get a really nice, clean, professional based looking helicopter that doesn't have wires hanging out all over the place. One of the biggest things I found about following manuals to the T is sometimes they have you do some of the craziest things to where it makes the build that much more difficult. So I've got a T-Rex 600 Nitro here that I'm halfway into, and the reason why I'm only halfway into it is because I wanted to show you guys how I do my builds and why I do them and what makes them easier and more beneficial to you as the owner for maintenance, ease of setup, construction, and overall how well the heli looks, because that's also important. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I've got here, and we'll talk a little more about it, about my build strategies, and we'll see what you guys think from there. Alright you guys, so you'll see here I've got half of the frame of my 600 Nitro. Now from the outside you'll notice how clean this heli really turned out. You'll see there's not a lot of wiring done within the outside of the frame. You'll also note just the overall cleanliness of everything. Now, what you may not realize is, when I turn this heli over, we've only got half of our frame built. Now, the reason why this is how I always build my helicopters. I know in the manual it has you assemble the frames first off, but I found a big problem with that. So what I do is I pick the side of my heli frame that has the most electronics. Mainly servos. You'll notice on the 600 we've got 2 cyclic servos and then also a rudder on the left hand side of the frame. So from there I use my manual as a reference for parts, but I install my bearing blocks and I keep the main shaft in, that way everything stays nice and 90 degrees. Go ahead and install your tail gearbox, sorry. We've got our fuel tank, we've actually got our motor fully assembled and installed with the fan shroud. Our starter shaft, and then over here we've got all of our electronic devices, our 2-in-1, our battery, our governor's right on the other side, and our receiver. And the reason why I do this, guys, is because you'll note that I was able to run my wires nice and clean along the inside. These obviously aren't plugged in yet. They'll sit into the flybarless unit right up here. Everything will be completely encased and enclosed, and I also take the time, guys, to use some heat shrink. Make everything look really good. But if I ever crash or need to do a repair job or upgrades, all I have to do is remove one side of the frame and I've got access to all the internal workings of my helicopter. Now you may be asking yourself, Freddy, what about the other half of the helicopter? Well, obviously we can't fly it like this. So what I do is I take the other side of my frames and I install the necessary servos and electronics. So here's our right half of the frame. You'll notice this is all that's going to be on this side of the frame, just these 2 servos. Of course we'll have our bell mixing arms, which will kind of attach the frames, and our bottom plate, which goes on last. But all I got to do from here is, sorry my voice cracked a little bit, we're going to take our left side of the frame and we'll kind of hold it loose, we'll route our wires, and then we'll just bolt the left side of the frame on. And everything's clean, everything's internal, and it overall makes the heli look a lot more professional. It makes it look a lot nicer, and honestly it's easier to maintenance, because once again, if I need to maintenance, I'm going to take off all my screws, boom, pull this guy right down, and there's everything I need access to right there inside the heli. So this is my preferred build method. You just use the manual as reference for your parts lists, and then you kind of have the creativity to roam around and build any way you choose. Route your wires nice and clean all inside, that way they're safe from the exhaust, or if you crash your blades won't strike any of your electronic devices. And overall I just think this really livens up a heli. It makes it that much more funner to build, and actually you can get a build done a lot quicker. I'm probably maybe about 3 hours into this build, and my whole main frame setup's almost done. I've got it torn apart strictly just for video purposes. So, I mean, you can cruise through these things pretty quick if you break it down into this method, but it's what I prefer to do. Alright you guys, so to sum it all up, this is my building strategy for almost any heli that will allow it. So if you guys are feeling risky, go ahead and give it a try. I promise you, you'll really enjoy doing so. quick overview, just ease of maintenance on the heli. Side comes off, everything's to one side. Overall cleaner, more professional, and more efficient in my opinion. So that's going to do it for video 2, build strategies and pre-planning. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and then always remember, if Freddy can fly, so can you. Thanks for watching.